Hi everyone, my name is Ashish, and in this video we are going to create a Geyser smoke effects in Unreal Engine, mainly using Niagara system and the materials, which you can see right now on the screen. I'll walk you through the key concepts from particle behavior to smoke shaping and the creation of material as well. And mainly this video is for intermediate artists who already knows the basics of Unreal Engine and the Niagara so that you don't get confused like where am I going or what am I saying, right? And by the end you will have a cinematic style geyser smoke which you can use in your game or your environment. So yeah, let's start it. I'll be creating a third person template so that we have a base level where we can put our effect and check the scale, size and timings, all of them, right? So I have turned on the starter content as well because we will be using the textures from the starter content provided by Epic, right? So see, we already have a base, right? And we can create our FX here or put it anywhere to check with the environment, right? Cool. See, whenever I start a project, I generally create my own folder structure, which is basically industry standard, and you should always do it as well. So I will create a folder named VFX, or you can create just FX, right? Create a folder, and inside this, I will put all my Niagara system materials or any textures which I make, right? I'll put it here so that it's easier to find as well, right? So in FX, I can create a new folder called Geyser. So in FX, I will create a folder called Niagara where all our systems will be, all our Niagara systems will be, right? Second, I will create a folder called materials. Right? Third, I will create a folder for textures. This is the folder structure we are going with. And this is pretty basic structure, right? So now we can actually make the material first and then the Niagara system. We can basically make the Niagara system, do all the speed and all those things, whatever is required, right? And create the material after. So what I go with generally is to create the material first so that I have the look I want in Niagara system and I can control it and shape it accordingly afterwards, right? So I'll go into the materials, right click and create a material. For the material naming convention, this is a master material. So we generally name it mm underscore whatever we are going for, right? So I will make it translucent and I'll open it, right, and make it instead of opaque, translucent. Correct? Good. Now we need a texture to pass it through the base color or emissive color or whatever we want, right? So I will take a texture sample. And as we already saw from, I checked starter content at the starting of the video, right? So in the starter content, we go to textures and scroll down a little bit. We'll find a smoke sub-UV, right? So I have selected it, T-smoke sub-UV, and I will basically use selected asset from content browser. So this basically comes here. Or you can basically search here if you know we are using the smoke sub UV, right? So I can type smoke and it will give you everything which it has, right? So I will go and add the T smoke sub UV and will add it to base color and MSF color as well. And you can do this to opacity as well. So you can see now our opacity is little weird because the alpha channel is not connected. We connected the RGB channel to the opacity, which you don't have to do, right? So I'll open the texture and show you. You can see the alpha channel is have alpha, right? And so that's why we need to connect the alpha channel to the opacity. Correct. Already got this. Now I can see there are no details in this, right? So to add details, I can basically take another texture which we can use and add on top of this, right? So I'll use a texture sample and use smoke. So this T soft smoke, which is already inside our engine, and I will basically add it. Take this, add, and if you hold control and click, so all these wires can be moved all together, right? And we can just put it here. And now I can put my sample here. So now you see the difference a little. So I will just do this again, control and put it here. So you can see how flat this is right now. And if I add my soft smoke texture, you can see it's basically applying everywhere. So right now you can see our smoke sub UV has 8 by 8 of a sprite sheet, correct? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 by 8, which is 16. So we have to tile this texture, the soft smoke texture, to 16 times as well. So for that, we have a node for texture coordinate. Here we can multiply. So basically, this will tile it with 8 times. So on X, it will be 8, and on Y, it will be 8. Correct? I can put it here. And now you can see the details in each and every sprite sheet. If I put 1, it's going overall, right? So you can't see the update here. For that, we have an option in the live update, all node previews. So it will update in real time. You can see the details now. It's always a good thing to rename your nodes to proper name, naming convention so that you don't get confused when things pile up or get bigger. So I'll just double click. No. Double click, you will directly go to whatever textures you have. So I can press and convert to parameter and rename it to underscore noise parameter, right? Or we added noise on this. And for this, we can convert this to parameter and make this underscore. So now we have our base texture ready, right? And we have to implement this in Niagara. So I'll just go here, save it for now, and we have our texture ready. So for Geyser, we already know what we want, right? And it should be something like, I'll just show you. I want to create something like this, right? Where we have smoke trailing around, something like this. Like, and these are like continuously emitting smoke, called geysers. Right? So now we will create a Niagara system and make our effect, right? So I'll create a Niagara system. There are many like we can use, which are pre-made templates. So you can see all these things. We know what we want is something like the particles needs to be going up in a smoke formation, right? So I will choose a fountain. Just rename the prefix should be ns, which is Niagara system, ns underscore Geyser. And you can say this. Now we have our particle motion. We don't want it to come down, right? So we'll just delete the gravity force from here, right? And they are pretty much going up. So let's see. First, we will directly apply our material here, which is translucent, right? There's a better option is to create an instance of the material, right? So I will do that first. I'll right click and create material instance. Mi underscore diesel smooth. Mi is prefix for material instance, right? So in material instance, what it helps us to do is whatever parameter we made. Right now, we only made two parameters, which were texture noise and texture smoke. So we can change all those parameters here, and we don't need to change inside the material itself, right? So there's a very good use of these material instances. So we can use these materials on different kind of smoke textures, and we just need to change the instance material textures, right? Now this fine. So mi Geyser smoke, correct? I'll go to my Niagara system and change the sprite render to my underscore Geyser smoke and save it. So now you can see every particle has the whole sprite sheet. So we need to play one particle at a time because this is a simulation and is a sprite sheet. So we just need one particle at a time, right? So I'll turn on in the sprite render, there's a sub UV option and you can read it what it does. I'll make it 8 by 8 because we have 64 frames of spreadsheet, right? You can see 8 by 8 which equals to 64. So I just made this 8 by 8 and now you can see every particle has a random, but you can see it's not moving internally, right? For that we have a module named sub UV animation. What it does is we have to select the sprite render which we have, and it can play the whole animation via sequence, so from left to right. So it start from here and end till here, right? So if you play now, you can see their internal motion is there. You can also do this random start frame, so it will start randomly on any of one particular sprite in this whole sprite sheet, and it will move from there. And right now you can see this is very small. So just to be clear, we will save everything. We'll go to Niagara and put our system here. Right? You see how it is behaving and how less size of a particle they are. So firstly, we need to change the particle motion, right? And the size, because right now it's just going up and the size is also very, very less. What I will do is arrange this thing here properly so that I have my Niagara system on the side and I have my viewport on the side as well. I can do both at the same time, right? To change the scale of all the sprite, we can use initialize particle and by default it is set to random uniform, right? So we make it something random, which is basically 2200. You can already see it's pretty much good, right? Now there are a few things. First is they are ending abruptly. Like you can see the pop when it's ending, right? So we need to fix that, and this edge also, right? We have this edge which is like very sharp edge. So we need to fade this whenever it whenever a character is there, or whenever our camera goes inside, right? Or whenever an object basically collides with it, right? We need to fade it. Let's see for the particles first, the fading out of this, because they are ending abruptly and we need to fade them out. So for that, we need to change in the scale color the alpha. So right now you can see the alpha is set. I will just make it 1 and I will try to make it 0. You can see the alpha of the texture doesn't work, right? What we have to do is inside the material, I'll just pull the material here. We have to add particle color, which is a data input, right? What it does, it allows us to control all these particle colors inside the Niagara system. Okay. So what I will do is whatever I have in base and MSF color, I will multiply it with RGB. So I can pull this and put here, and RGB. Our final color is basically multiplied to this particular color RGB. And for alpha, I will multiply it with alpha. Save it. What it allows us is to control all these parameters in Niagara. So now if I change the scale color to 1, show you inside, it is 1. And if I change it to 0, it is 0. So now we can apply a curve over time on this, right? So that it doesn't end abruptly. So I'll make a float from curve. So basically it had a float value and we can create a float from curve. So it starts from 1 and it ends at 0. So you can see it now, it doesn't pop that much, right? So you can fade it out smoothly as well. If you press F, you will frame the whole keyframe. So on 0 it is 1 and on 1 it is 0, right? But if you don't want to fade it out from the very starting, you can basically make this keyframe at zero point 0.5. So basically after zero point 0.5 it starts to fade, right? Now I don't want these to generate from a specific thing. Like we might need some bigger area to generate it from. So for that we have the shape location, right? So right now it's 8, and if I make it 10, right, or 100, let's say. So now it generates from a bigger area. But then the size also is very, very less. So we can compensate that with initialize particle and change the size to 40 to 150. You can do that as well, but I will reduce it to 30. And in initialize particle, I will make changes to smaller because I quite like this. And in the velocity, we already have that in cone. You can change it to linear or cone, whatever, but I want to increase just a little bit. You can see like how this is behaving. Now there's one more module. What we can do is over time the smoke expands, right? So what we can do is over time we can increase the scale or the size of each sprite, right? So for that we will change it to scale sprite size. Right? So right now it's starting from 0 and going till 1. So it is mapped to age, which is basically whatever our lifetime is, right? So I will scale the sprite size. The starting will be 0.6 I'll make it a little smoother. And the starting will be 0.6. Okay, 1 you see over time it grows, and spawn rate we can increase to 140 to give it more denser. And if you want to decrease the velocity as well, we can do that. Now let's see this. This is our main effect. Now we need to do is change this depth. We don't want these harsh lines here, right? So for that, what we need to do is add a node which is called depth fade inside the material. I'll make it full screen. You can see better, right? This is depth fade. What we can do is we have to multiply, not even multiply, we can just directly put our final opacity inside here and apply this here. So now fade distance is working. Okay, I'll save it. What I will do is by default I can we can right click on this and we can promote it to parameter, so it will directly promote this to parameter, and by default we will keep it 0. Okay, so now if we go here, check this, we will change it in the instance of the material, right? We have that Geyser smoke. I have this fade distance value, so keep an eye here. Now I will change the fade distance value slowly. Now you can see that harsh edge is gone now, right? So whatever value works for you, that will be great. So now that harsh edge is gone, right? So this, now we can basically take it, copy it somewhere, move it, create more variations of these. Okay? You can use them in your own engines as well. Just to keep in mind these things, that we have to use sub UV animation and this should be turned on to sub image index. And if it doesn't move for you, then just turn on the local space so it doesn't create that dragging effect. So if you turn off the local space and the properties, it will create this dragging effect when you draw whatever works for you. Thank you.